How are you? How is everything? Onyango boss, how are you doing? Gatoto, how are you guys? How is your night? How was the night, man? Are you up? Mm? Mkwaje? Hebu chukuni mic bwana, mnisalimia. Mniambie mkwaje, maisha iko vipi? How was the day and how was night? Ama mjalala? Mm? Ama mjalala bwana? Unajua siku hizi kulala pia ni kama ni kitu ingine. Nimeona Steve Muli pia ameingia hapa. Yes, guys, how are you doing? Karibu sana. Welcome to the pressure point whereby we say things the way it is, and also we just have a conversation. Yes, KDR TV News, I see you, bro. How are you doing? We are just saying hi. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. How are you doing, guys? Welcome to the show this morning, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you are. We just have open mic here. We'll just see how things are moving. What are the plans? What do we have? KDR TV, how are you doing? Gatoto, anaitwa Gatoto Ngui, Momanyi Dan, Phantom, Steve Molly. How are you doing, guys? Have a mic, then Mkenya Daima. Mkenya Daima ujambo. Bwana, umeamka mapema sana baba. Mkenya Daima, habari ya sai? Human nature, I see you there. KK, how are you doing? Yes, guys, with this a pressure point, we say that it is a morning hours. Let us catch up, and also wellness it is very important, and also sometimes it is just good to say hi. Namna gani mnaendeleaje? Mkenya Daima, ujambo, habari asubuhi.
Najua my mic has an issue, but I'm okay. Niko poa. I don't sidhani kama Wakenya tuko sawa jameni. I don't think we are okay, and I don't think we are going to be okay.
Kusikia kaka, nini mbaya na nini yako? Nini mbaya na mic yako?
My actual phone is charging and I have another one. I must keep scrolling jameni, so it's charging na huko, so yeah.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I hear you. Lakini umelala aje?
No, me actually, I haven't slept because I was working on something, and when I thought I could sleep, nikajiekelea kidogo ikashindikana, so nikaamka tu just continue working.
Na ni vizuri bwana. Unajua sasa lazima ufanye kazi ndio upate unga. Utafanyaje? Utafanyaje? Lazima ufanye kazi. Mohammed, good evening. How are you doing? Good night, good morning.
Yeah, good evening to you, Hillary. Nashangaa wewe ulalangi?
Ni asubuhi, ni saa kumi asubuhi. Sasa si watu wameamka.
Oh, okay. Hapa ni 7 p.m. 7 p.m. jioni.
Hii ni Alberta.
Yeah, ni Alberta, yeah.
Oh, uko Edmonton ama
Calgary.
Oh, well, that's great, man.
Uko Kenya?
Yes, sir.
Oh. Nice. Yeah, what is the new lie of Ruto? You know, we track his lies by days.
Alisema bwana jana, juzi aliambia watu bwana, sasa sisi tukitaka kuenda ng'ambo, kama mimi nataka kuenda Shelisheli sasa ni nini wiki moja na fare ananilipia.
No, you ask someone alisema nini leo, alafu you try to explain to him and anakuambia hapana, hiyo ilikuwa uongo ya juzi, niambie leo.
Yeah, so sisi tunaendelea hivyo hivyo kila siku. ile imekuja na promise, tunangoja tu na tunachukua tu hivyo. Sasa what can we do, you know?
Exactly. And and by the way, the way the Western systems are, he
Right.
doesn't know actually the leaders. They cannot sign agreement with a foreign leader that says I will hire or we will bring X number of resources to this country for job. They cannot do that. Even the Canadian Prime Minister cannot meet a foreign state and say, okay, I'm going to hire this number of people. He cannot do that. He cannot
Yeah.
hire anybody. The only people he can hire, even in Canada, he can only hire political appointees, and they have to be Canadian citizens. So when he says those kind of things, and the Kenyans all over, millions of Kenyans all over who know these systems, in Europe, in North America, it's impossible. Even the president of the United States, the most powerful man in the world, he cannot take the phone call and say, "I'm going to hire 100 people for you." Atapeleka wapi? Where? Which company? In these countries, jobs go through a process. They advertised, people actually apply, they interviewed, they hired. The only option these guys can do are political appointees. And now our Kenyan citizens, who are actually youth who are jobless, do not qualify because they're not citizens. And he's just lying to the ordinary folks. The poor people, he's lying to them. And this is really, really so sad.
I hear you. I hear you. I can see people are joining. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Good evening. Wherever you are, the entire timeline. We are here to the pressure point. We are catching up, and also that's what Mohammed saying. Uh, every day we we wake up with new things, and that's good. One thing that we usually know very well in the pressure point forum, that your wellness is very key, because if you're well, everything is okay, and if you're not well, let us know. And if it is mental issues, then we have psychologists that can offer free services sometimes, so that we can have counseling on board, and now we see what is happening. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining this morning, this evening, this night, this day, wherever you are. It is an open mic whereby we are just saying the way it is, what is happening. Right. All right. Okay. Yeah, Mohammed, that's the unfortunate thing, that every day we wake up in a new promises, and
Yes,
no
yes.
way.
And also, Hillary, one more thing we need to amplify.
Right.
The 50 more dead bodies were found. To go to summer, 60 are dead. So now you have now 50 more dead bodies. And they said, in nation media said they're all riddled with bullets. So now our death toll, that Zile Zina Julikana, the known death toll now, it's 110. In 100, it's 110. So I think in the next few days, this is the discussion. This will be our discussion point. 110 are now confirmed, and God knows how many are missing. God knows how many others are hidden somewhere or buried somewhere in a grave, or we don't know the actual number. But imagine 110 Kenyans. Probably the time we start writing to ICC to get their guy here. Remember, they said they can come back to this case any time in the future when new evidence come. We have the evidence now, right?
Yes. Yes, Mohammed. I can hear you. Yeah. So, all right. That's very good. I know what you're saying, and yeah, there's a lot of evidence now, and then there's a lot of things that has happened, and people have informations and everything. It is just 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I think we were talking about the people who were dumped in Kware. It is Kware. It was Kware or where we see that women were being killed and thrown there.
Mkuru Njenga.
Mukuru kwa Jenga.
Uh,
So uh, you see this story, Kenyans are now forgetting, but these are things that what happened. The guy that they were saying that who was killing these women, where is he now? Because it's like now he's nowhere. He disappeared, and other things. So, but hiyo si muhimu sana. Muhimu ni kwanza sisi tuko sawa, lakini pia haya mambo kwa nini haiko tena? Karibuni sana kwenye ukumbi wa leo. Asubuhi hii tunazungumza tu kama Wakenya, tunaona namna gani. You have idea, you have anything to say, uh, it can be okay. So There's a pressure point whereby we share the ideas. What can we do? And anything. It is an open mic today. We don't have really a certain topic that we want to talk about, but it's a good morning whereby it is important to catch up. Eric, how are you doing?
Thanks, Hilary. I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm well, bro.
I mean, Gen Zs have been doing a great job, but I don't know where the starting point should be. The problem with us Kenyans is like we start things and we forget and they get buried. And, when something pops up, there is no law that gets passed to make sure that it will never happen again. So I don't know. As much as we are fighting for this change. I don't know if we really need a pathway to on how things will be like when we are going to have MPs. Are we going to have a voting? So we have people who are going to be elected to be people of integrity, honesty, and all those kind of stuff. But we also need maybe to look at some tiny services that we are being provided if they are being taken care of. For example, like when you go to getting your identification card, do we need these people who are these public servants to have the identification number? And the government should have a timeline for issuance, for example, of an ID, a birth certificate, or any documents. Let's say you apply and you're told 7 days. If you don't get in 7 days, then maybe a supervisor within that office gets contacted and to find out what's going on, because we cannot be paying people, or our taxes cannot be used to pay people, then you don't get the service. Then again, the same people who are supposed to serve you ask you for money to give you your document. It's very interesting on how things run. But if we are going to be adamant and say we are not going to do that, those people are not going to get money from anywhere. Maybe they will start doing justice to all Kenyans, because I'm thinking like everyone wants to go anywhere, any place, any hospital, any bank, or wherever to get service without being asked for a single penny. Secondly, as you look at our country, there is so much money, man. The way stealing has been going on and this economy has not collapsed. I'm thinking like if we make things straight, that will be a first world country in a few years. So I mean, let's look at education. I guess let's keep fighting. Education should be affordable for everyone. Otherwise, what this government was doing is to make sure that we all become beggars. And you see, the government is actually not showing ways of even coming up with employment, creating employment. It's talking about, oh, tutawachukua nyinyi ng'ambo. And by the way, there are ways of creating employment in these developed countries. If you see, like for example, the post office, to minimize corruption, everything should be done online, or correspondence should be done online. If there is any document, it should be mailed to you. In the process of mailing it to you, you pay for the post office, people will be employed in that post office. There are so many ways we can suggest. For example, let's cut credit to business people. If you have been operating a business 1 year or 2 years, let's give you some credit. At the end of the day, you are going to employ 1 or 2 people. You will have already broadened the base for taxation. You will have more people to tax. Hence, the government will make more money rather than just having one person operating who is going to be burdened and all of a sudden is going to get out of business. So, if that government is really needing to help its people, it should come out, okay, we are out of ideas, give us the ideas, and ideas will come. The only way you can stimulate the economy is making sure that money is on the hands of the people. Those are the people. You increase the tax base and then start taxing them. For example, the house levy, people have houses. Why can't the government put that money aside and say, hey, if you want a house, you come and pay maybe, let's say, 4% of the house. And then you are given a mortgage using that money at an interest which is like 5%, which you can pay 10 years or 15 years. People will run to buy those houses. And when you go buy houses, for example, you have to show either what you've been doing, a bank statement, or you have employed for the last 2 years, or you've been filing taxes, so that we know you are not going somewhere and start buying everyone's house and then start renting people. We know that we are serving those. There are so many ways, but the government is not willing. The president is the one who is out there defending the government, not giving individuals that he has employed to try and say, hey, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. Meaning, he's how do we say, he's micromanaging all the ministries. So they steal and give him the money, recover the money they use the campaign. So we are going to be there all the time. Now that's why he's refused to either fire those people he fired and then putting them back again. So my finally I can say this: let the government be open. If it doesn't have ideas of creating jobs, I know there are young people who are willing to create those jobs by being given the opportunities. Lastly, people are wants to start companies, create jobs, but when you go there, you are being told, "Hey, I need 20% of your shares in your company." Why will you need? And I'm creating jobs for people whom you are not able to create jobs for. People run away because of that. So, Hillary, let's keep discussing. But I think if it's possible, someone, I don't know if we should have our website in the future. We can keep putting these things, civic education to our parents. Let's go to the media and the share. Let's, those ones who have a big, huge following, these are some of the issues we need to be discussing so that they click into the minds of the people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eric. The question that we're asking up there this morning, that the protest is on and NANE is coming up. So is the government deaf, or Kenyans are the impatient ones? Are we the impatient people, or government as a deaf ear, they don't listen to what people want, or what is happening? AJ, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you doing?
Morning, Hillary and Mohammed, Eric. Morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm in Nairobi right now. I'm doing good.
Mm.
Yeah. So my take on this conversation, I've been following closely the politics of this country, and also considering the fact that I'm in Kenya right now. I'm in Nairobi. I've been closely following the politics of this president of ours. I always call him our God-forsaken president because alikuanga anapiga campaign akisema sijui nini. He is someone who cannot even be changed, because I remember that time during the campaigns alienda hata church akavalisha those robes zenye au makuhani huwa anavaa Catholic, akatoka hapo akaenda ACK akavalishwa, akatoka hapo akaenda mosque akavalishwa hizo kanzu, akatoka hapo akaenda sijui ni SDA akavalishwa. Like he's been in all churches chanting God's name, whatever, but no change. So I've been following his politics of late since the protests kicked off, since especially since the invasion in Parliament, 25th of June. And this guy, it's like he, he his life, his entire life revolves around the political shiftings and whatevers of this country. Like his whole life is all about politics. He forgets that he's the president of this country, that he won in 2022, and that right now he's supposed to be focusing on how this country is supposed to develop, how this country economies and the livelihoods of the people of this country are supposed to be shifting to an upper level. Right now, since the invasion, he alikuja akavalia, what do you call it, ngozi ya kondoo, and then he pretended that now he's listening to people, now he's listening to the youth. He even came to a space on Twitter hosted by Osama, pretended that now he's listening to the youth. Those guys talk to him, blah 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 blah. Now, right now, if you listen to what this guy is talking about, you just get disappointed. Right now, instead of retreating to State House or to that office at Harambe Avenue to try and re-strategize, to try and listen to what actually he's supposed to have listened to what we've been saying as the youths of this country. to try and listen to his advisors, try to come up with a policies to try and shape up the economy of this country in as far as the cries and the concerns of the youth are concerned. But right now he's back on top of on the roof of cars, ako anazunguka. Last weekend he was in I think Coast, going to Msambweni, to Lamu, to whatever. And if you listen to him closely, all he's preaching about is umoja, and I don't know, peace. I don't know if this country is at war. I really can't understand, because I haven't seen anywhere people fighting in this country, and any county in this country where there is no peace. This guy is right now preaching about peace, and he's trying to convince even the 50 years old, the 60 years old, the 70 years old, that now ati Kenya tunahitaji amani, sijui nini, ati msichome Kenya. Sijui nani anachoma Kenya sahi. No one is burning this country. People are just trying to air out their grievances. But this guy is now shifting the attention from addressing the real issues. This country, we are trying to be issue oriented. Accountability, as stipulated in Article 10 of the Constitution, accountability, transparency. If it's a minister, let the minister do his work, accountably, transparently, honestly. If funds are allocated to the Ministry of Health, let the doctors be employed, let the nurses be employed, the interns, let them get the internship, pay these guys, improve the working conditions in the hospitals. We don't want to be a country whereby when we are growing up, our parents were encouraging us at USG marketable courses, unmarketable courses, and unfortunately, that disease spread into even the high schools. With your high school, you are told you are not supposed to take this course because it's not marketable. Take this course, take this course. And then what wanna end up crowd in a certain course, in that even when the CUSPs are selecting people for certain courses in the universities, unapata people are not getting those courses. So CUSPs ends up throwing people in courses that hizo zenye wanasema now unmarketable courses. We don't want to be a country whereby kuna hizo ujinga za sijui marketable courses. All we want is employment. Employ someone. Like, the government should be the largest employer of this country, but unfortunately sahi ukienda hata kwa government, it's the worst place unaweza enda kutafuta job. Unaona, you go there, you are being told pay 20,000. You pay that 20,000, you wait for 5 months, 2 months, 3 months, ukipigia mtu simu hashiki, blah blah blah. Like, we are fucked up.
Jay, we lost you. We can't hear you, man. Mohammed, can you hear him?
No,
No, I can't
no,
hear
I
you.
don't. I don't.
Oh, Jay, maybe something happened to your mic. Check that. So the question we have this morning, this afternoon, this night, that uh, protest is coming, and it is a deaf government is not listening, or is Kenyans who are impatient with the things that they want to be done, but they're seeing time is running. So this is a question that we're asking this time. Jay, you can come back when you fix your mic. James, nimekuona hapo, karibu sana. Mercy, good morning, good evening, good night. Where are you? How are you doing?
Good morning, Hillary. I am coming to you live from Kisumu City. I really want to first appreciate everybody who has been on this space so consistent with all the activism. Thank you so much, Eric. I've been listening to you guys for a while. I am one of those Kenyans that are really, really hurting by this corrupt government. For those who know my story, I am the woman who was deported from America. My story was featured on Tuko, on Jalango TV, on Shared Moment with Justas. And I'm the woman that Kenyans came through for me and raised over 1 million shillings to open a business. I opened a bar and restaurant in Kitengela, and the police literally made me to to lose my business because of corruption. I have a few ideas that I wanted to share. The first thing, I do think that the government is deaf, and it sucks because it seems like our situation is hopeful and hopeless at the same time. And when I say hopeful and hopeless, I mean that it is hopeful because of people like you who are still continuously fighting for our rights. And hopeless, I felt hopeless when the cabinet was appointed because I felt like, oh my God, where's our country going to? So the first contribution I wanted to make is that I really think that we need, even as much as we are going to NANE in Nairobi, we need to do NANE in all the counties in Kenya. If we can also do the grassroots movement that everybody has been advocating for here, we can move Gen Zs, like all Gen Zs from Nairobi, all Gen Zs in Nakuru, in Siaya, like we just occupy like the whole country, and we need funding for this. So if there's already no website that is going on strong, we need like a website where we can do the funding so that we can do the civic education all over the country. And we really need to deal with the lower positions, especially the members of parliament, so that when we have elections, I'm really hoping Ruto can be out before 2027. But if we can have, if we have to wait until 2027, we really need to make sure that the people that are getting elected, especially the members of parliament and the women reps that are representing us, are people who cannot be bribed. I don't know how we can ensure that this happens, but we just need to really, really also, as we focus on Nairobi, focus all over the country. The other idea that I really wanted to share with Casmuel, if anybody can reach out to him, is that he really needs to take some cautions. I know he said he's not afraid of death, but he needs to take a lot of caution now that he's in the public. And I'm one of the women in Kenya that is claiming him as my own son. He really needs to take a lot of caution. And a few ideas that I had, I hope I'm not out of topic, is that he needs to... Okay, I feel like I may be going out of topic. So just kindly allow me, if anybody can get directly to Casmuel, please just inbox me and I will share the tips that I have, because I have really battled with the police in Kenya and I know how it can be so bad. One of the tips I can say publicly is that he needs to get very familiar with the UNHCR, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugee, and he needs to be very familiar to be traveling, especially to Uganda and Tanzania in case of emergencies. Not to the government of Tanzania or to the government of Uganda, but just the UNHCR. And I have the contacts of the UNHCR in those countries. So he needs to be very familiar with going and, coming back so he can be safe. And I have a few more other tips that are important. So if you can reach to him directly, just reach to me. I want to conclude by just saying this. Let me conclude by saying that the fight is on. And I really want a better Kenya. I really want a Kenya where the system works, because this is the Kenya. I don't want to leave this Kenya for for my children. I thank you so much again for hosting us, Hillary. I thank you so much, Eric, for all the work you are doing. I've always watched you, listened to you so many times. Thank you, Mohammed, and everybody who is listening. May God bless you guys, and may God bless Kenya. And I hope that NANE will be so successful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mohammed is like, Mercy cannot hear you. Mercy, can you hear Mohammed?
No, not yet. Not yet. I cannot hear Mohammed.
Okay. Hillary, I wanted to ask, every one of us is a potential target for the government. So if she has helpful information, let her share. Let her share with us.
Okay. So the first information I have is the UNHCR. Everybody has a right to be protected. Everybody has a right to be protected under the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. And what you have to do is, in case of an emergency, just cross the border over to Uganda or to Tanzania. And the UNHCR is different from the government of those countries. So if you need those contacts, the phone numbers of the UNHCR, just please inbox me. I don't think I should give those phone numbers publicly. If you need those numbers, just contact me. But all you have to do is you don't even need a passport. You just need your ID and you get there. The other tips that I have in order to keep safe is that, especially if you're in the limelight, please, as you already know, you need to avoid women. Women have been used a lot to finish our hope, like our politicians in this country, like the people that can bring change to this country. So just avoid umalaya. They have really used women to finish people. The other tip I have is to avoid eating everywhere and anywhere. If you know that you're a target in this government and you know that you're being targeted, get used to carrying your own water. Get used to not eating anywhere, everything anywhere. The other tip that I have in order to keep safe is to also get used to trusting your conscience. You know, there is always that's one thing that God gave to everybody. If your conscience is just saying don't do it, then don't do it, please. Just trust yourself, trust your conscience. Also, do not trust any friends. Don't always share everything that you have in your mind. And if it is possible, it is always good to have inner persons. You know, like when the police were targeting me in Kitengela, I used to have one deputy OCS who would tell me when to move, where to go, when not to move. She would tell me today, if you go to court, you're gonna disappear in court. So it is good to have somebody inside. It is good to have somebody inside that can tell you what is going on, what they are planning, what they are going to do to you. So that is something that really helped me to keep safe. Another thing that helped me to keep safe was when they are targeting you and they're saying, like, don't speak. You know, there was a time that the Kajiado County government came for me because I was all over Citizen News. I was on the Daily Nation. And the Kajiado County government, they are trying to make a deal with me. Please don't make a deal with the government. Don't make a deal with the police. They are not your friends. If you're trying to make a deal with any government, you are really giving in so that they can kill you. The moment you get silent, the moment you start speaking, the moment you become silent, the moment you agree to be both, that is the moment you are giving them the right to kill you and to finish you. So if you're somebody who is already very outspoken and you are speaking very loudly, continue to speak very loudly, because the more you speak, the more you take their power. Because if anything happens to you, then everybody already knows that it is the government that did it. Those are the tips that I can think of just offhand. But just remember, they use women a lot to finish our most powerful people in Kenya. And if I think of anything else I'm going to contribute, I'm still in this live. I can't just thank you enough. From my side in Kisumu, I have been distributing water to the protesters. I have small kids, so I've not been able to personally go and protest, but I've been distributing water to the protesters with the small amount of money that I have. And I want to encourage those who cannot go on the streets to please support the movement. If you cannot go out there and protest, please just donate wherever you have. You know, wherever you have. Even right now, as our kids are going to Nairobi to fight for us, donate any money that you have just to support them, because it really helps and it makes a difference. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mercy, for that. Now I can remember, because that story I was reading when you were coming from abroad and coming back home, and when you were deported, and people came in and contributed towards. I didn't know that. I'm happy to meet you today. I didn't know that one day we'll meet again in places that we had the conversation. Sorry about the story, but how is the business in Kisumu?
Okay, thank you so much again, Hilary. The bar and restaurant completely closed in Kitengela because of the everyday paying bribe. But right now I'm in Kisumu. I'm selling organic beauty products. I left the restaurant business. So I'm okay. Thank you so much. Thank you again for asking. I really want change in my country, like more than anything. Inaniuma sana sana sana. I really, really want change in my country. And you know, if I just finish, I happened to be a volunteer for Barack Obama campaign when I was in the US. And when we were volunteering for Obama campaign, what happened, you know, in America, it is the people that want to elect you who donate money. You don't give people 200, 500, and then they don't. So we should find our candidate. We should build a website just like they do in the US. And we, the people that want to elect them, we should be the one to contribute, so that we can elect the people that we want, so that we can ask them questions if they're not performing. And we used to have call centers, you know, we used to have call centers all over the US. I worked at a call center at KTLA News in California. And what we used to do in the call center, we used to have a list of all names and phone numbers of all voters all over the US. And we used to call these people every single day just to make sure that everything is good, they're ready to vote. And we used to, especially on the voting day, we made sure that everybody has transport. to the polling station. Everybody can get there. And even on the voting day, we were still on the phones. We were still on the phones the whole day, the day that Obama was getting elected, and asking everybody, hi, how are you? Have you voted? So we should adopt that grassroots method. And we also used to have a lot of fundraising. And during the fundraisings, the Americans love their country. And that is why everybody stops whatever they're doing during election time to focus on election, because leadership is so, so important. During election, we used to have fundraising where there's all the famous people, whether they are footballers, they are celebrities, they are actors, they are musicians, and the volunteers would just be there to write down the names. Like, it was an amazing experience. And if we have such, I would love to participate again. So yeah, thank you so much again.
Hillary, to add on what you said, I think if we have to move forward on the political side, I guess if we have a political party, I think we can say, hey, if you want to vie using this political party, then we ask you to come forward and tell us what you're going to do, and then people can nominate you as a flag bearer of that party. Let's not identify someone like, hey, it's for you, you are the one. People, sometimes having no one person who is like, it's you, they will not have any propaganda to come against you. If all our candidates are good and then they agree, like whoever is being nominated will go ahead, I think that will be great. So, I mean, let's keep discussing. We'll get ideas that will work best for our country.
Right, Mercy, thank you so much, and we appreciate your story, and also you coming in and also share with us that amazing story, and also keeping on and keeping alive, and be safe always. And I know, yeah, when you live in abroad, when you come back home, you can't be silent. I know you just say the way it is, because there's a lot of freedom outside here, and back home sometimes they don't want that freedom. You cannot speak your mind. So thank you so much. You're still alive, and also you're coping on well. We really appreciate your effort on what you're doing, and keep safe always. And things that you're doing, I know. May God bless you, and keep on doing awesome. Awesome. Good morning. How are you doing?
Morning, Hillary. Good to hear from you.
Ujambo.
Si jambo
Yeah,
kabisa.
long.
Morning to everyone else, my fellow Kenyans on the space. Pia, tell me, Hillary.
I'm well. I'm coping on well, and maybe yourself. How are you doing? Your wellness, everything okay?
I'm good. We're all good down in Mombasa. We have just been slowed down, and a spanner has been thrown into the works due to the confusion which has been brought about by the dalliance between recent dalliance between the opposition and the government, the so-called opposition. And right now, currently, I believe it's just best to take a seat as observers, and really just try and study the situation, because there are very many nuances which I feel we are not capturing and grasping as Kenyans. But I appreciate unknowingly and inadvertently the political class themselves, they are working towards assisting us to achieve some of our objectives. I believe machinations are currently underway to table an impeachment motion against one Geoffrey Gadi, the deputy president. And for many people, if you have been following the Vox Populi interviews in the media, very many people have been very apprehensive about basically ejecting William Ruto from office, and then having Rigathi Gachagua take over the presidency, which happens by default due to the chain of succession. So it's good. I'm here. I want to listen to views, and maybe in the course of sharing opinions, maybe I can let one or two feelings from my heart out. But it's a very dull moment. A very confusing moment.
Wow. Well, I see everybody's talking about NANE. how it is in coast, because it's like we're saying that everybody's going Nairobi, and also, do you think that Kenyans are impatient with this government, or this government deaf ear is not listening?
To be honest, right now at the coast, opinions are quite divided on the state of protests, and the intensity of protests at the coast has been continuously and consistently reducing. And with the recent appointment to office of the first governor of Mombasa, I want to just accurately forecast that NANE and other protest movements moving forward will be dulled and will be dimmed a lot. This is not to say that as a people in Mombasa, we endorse or we believe that we are represented by the nomination to cabinet of the former governor. I don't believe that is true. It's not that we have particular faith in his character or his competencies, but it's just that we are looking at it from a trauma perspective as a people who have not received nominations to government. There is some form of appreciation towards William Ruto when you look at it from a perspective of ethnic balancing in the makeup of the government. So a lot remains to be seen moving forward.
All right, thank you so much, Osam, for sharing your idea, and also, there's a lot of things that's going on. I see some people um the NANE TV. I see in NANE TV yesterday, NTV news that 50 bodies were lying in city mortuary. They arrived there on 25th. They have not even identified. So the question is, where was these bodies from? And a lot of people have been asking me in inbox that what is happening and everything. I don't know whether you guys saw it. Mohammed, did you see that?
I see the one they said. The question is, were they?
Yeah, and TV announced that there some bodies were taken to city
Yes,
mortuary,
yes,
50 of
exactly,
them were just lying
exactly.
there,
If you see,
and nobody.
if you see the last line of that statement, it says, the question is, were they killed in the protest? That's on Shanga. If you look at under the post, I replied. I told them no, they were killed by flying potatoes. What kind of question is this? They know they were killed by they were killed by in the protest. They were killed by the police. They were killed by the government. They even admitted. They said the bodies were riddled with bullets. Nor to Abia were they killed in the protest. So it's quite unfortunate the kind of media that we have. Like they don't even attempt, they don't even try to look like they are actually the in between the state and the government, and the public, and they're trying to give information out to the public. It's like they are out there selling out the information on behalf of the government. What the public should perceive, they should control the information. That's what they're doing. And it's quite unfortunate. Unfortunately, as much as we are fighting the government, we're equally fighting this media. A few days ago, I think Cyprus posted there was a leaked information he got that the senior executive of KTN, Royal Media Services, and NTV were called to State House, and they were told you cannot cover any live stream event of Gen Z. Only put them in news segments. But every time, which exactly what they did the last time we were actually there in CBD last Thursday, they did not cover at all. But every time Ruto goes out to do baraza, which it has now come out, most of the people attending were paid, especially in Mombasa. The women who are complaining they were not paid. Every time he goes to give baraza, it's live. It's covered very well in all this. It's all live. But the protesters, the Kenyans, were actually fighting for them, their own interests, because they were also on the streets, journalists complaining. So this is the dishonesty we also have to deal with. Thank you, Larry.
AJ, and
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Sorry, I lost my network the other time while I was speaking, but I lost my thought process anyways. But I'd like to say actually I'm happy to share the same platform with Mercy because I followed her story the other time during deportation and all that. So I just I'm also happy that she's doing her business and everything is going on well right now at least. So I actually have a question concerning whatever is going on in the country right now because all of us know that. This our president right now, ever since he got into politics, he's been thriving on politics of division. I remember in 2013 when they won with Uhuru, they were campaigning about vijana na wazee during that time because it's when Kibaki was exiting the politics, and I think he was in his late 70s. Also, Raila was older than these guys. And then when it came to 2022, he was about the idea of hustlers versus the dynasties. And right now, I've been following his politics right now, and he's coming up with something like peace. I don't know. It's like he's trying to come up with something concerning peace and also the young versus it's something like anasema ati sijui wazee na okay, hakuna sijui venye anaweza iweka, but it's something of the sort, like he's coming up, it's something divisive. That's what I can say, it's something divisive cause anasema ati mnataka nchi yetu ichomeke? Hapana. Mnataka nchi yetu ichomeke? Hapana. Naunganisha nchi sijui nini nini nini, salale, hizo mavitu zake tu hizo. So my question is, come 2027, do you guys think he's going to win when the young generation is going to come into play? Because right now we are seeing we the young generation tuna come up in terms of we want accountable leaders and all that stuff. So I think maybe what if 2027 during the campaign maybe we come up with something, and also like we campaign about, I'm sure this guy is going to come up with something very divisive. Atakuja tu na something of A versus B, C versus D. So you guys, my question is, if the young generation keeps on pushing and pressing the way we are doing right now, do you think this guy is going to maybe come out like come out on top? That's my question.
Yeah. All right. We have a question. Jonathan, good morning, good afternoon, good night. How are you doing? Did you hear the question of AJ? Or awesome guy, then we give to Jonathan.
I'm going to be very honest. I believe it will be very hard for the youth to coalesce and the younger generation to coalesce around uh, a youth-driven agenda, youth-driven politics, because these guys will always try and reshape the narrative. And to the contrary, I have the belief that 2027 will go down in history as one of the most ethnically charged elections we have ever seen. I think other elections like the 207 and others will even be child's play in comparison, because right now, if you look at the scale of ethnic mobilization and the divisions, if people are playing 3D chess on a very, very different level, and they're playing very, very dangerous games. Like I just saw yesterday, if you guys are on the grapevine, if you guys are reading the news, a conference was sponsored in Kakamega And we do know, some of us do know, those of us who are in the know, we do know who is funding it. The governor of Trans Zoya, I think, is being fronted to, form a caucus which is mainly based on the interests of the Western community. Now, there are others who will also come up, and we're seeing the deputy president, sorry, and the governor of Nyeri also trying to form an ethnic caucus. And we will see many other ethnic caucuses being formed as we progress to this. I think we really have to get our game in order. Also to take charge of the conversation and to take charge of basically the theme, the political theme, which will be driven. But it's an uphill task. It's an uphill task. It's going to be very ethnically charged. It's going to be along the lines of ethnic interests, and it's very hard to bring guys together once that is done. It's politics of victimhood. Back to you, Hill.
Do you think that that's gonna work if maybe Gen Zs continue with the narrative of tribeless, partyless, leaderless? Do you think that's gonna take a win at the end of the day?
It will work. It will work because even though we are Gen Zs, even though we are well-meaning Kenyans, even though we are progressive Kenyans,
Ulipotea kaka, sijui umeingia kwa shimo, umeingia kwa nyungu, nikaa unaongea alafu unarudi unapotea kabisa. Umenyongwa sana baba. Nimefanya mic. Okay.
So for me, I believe it's going to be an uphill task since this is very cutthroat politics, and there are new people coming to the game, new players coming to the table right now. In Kiswahili we say mjinga akierevuka mwerevu yuko mashakani. So right now people are just getting to know how the game is being played.
Okay. Right, guys. Welcome to the Pressure Point. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. We are talking about the question that we're asking ourselves this morning, this afternoon, this night, is that the protest, yes, is there. Do you think this government is deaf, or the Kenyans, we Kenyans, we're the people who are impatient with the government? What is your take? What do you think? I know people are planning NANE, whereby they're trying to push everybody to be in Nairobi on tarehe nane mwezi wa nane. Hiyo ni wiki ijayo. Oh no, I think the next week after next week. So what do you think? Welcome on board. Can I have a mic and share your idea on the same? And also, Osam says that maybe we're gonna go back where we were before, in the sense that people are gonna vote according to where you're coming from. That means that ethnicity is going to go back. So it means that if you're not careful, the issues that is happening, that we're tribalized, might end after all these protests, and 2027 the game might change. All right. Yes, Eric. I see we are only five of us, so Mohammed.
Yeah, let them give them a chance. No problem. I'm here.
All right.
Politics is very
Yes, Osam.
local in nature.
Okay. Eric, are you here? Or are you going to sleep?
No, I'm here with you. Not yet.
Right, Mercy, you are still here. Mercy, what is your take? Being that you've been into US for a while, and also you've been in the forefront of the election in US and everything. What do you think? Do you think we coming back home? What are the areas that we need to um, adjust? The areas that we need to talk about? The areas that we need to focus on? The Gen Zs to focus on millennium, or all generation need to focus on?
Okay, thank you so much again, Hilary. I still think that 2027 should start now, even as we continue with the mandamanos. I still think, like somebody suggested, we need to set up a website as early as now, and then we choose the people that want to vie. Yeah, we vet, we choose all the seats, including our president. I really think Gen Z, I'm a millennial, but I really think that Gen Z need to start getting organized now. It is unfortunate that the only language that our mothers in the village and fathers and grandmothers understand is sukari, mchele, mafuta ya kupika. That is the language that they understand. So if we have to do civic education via that, I'm kindly asking our brothers and sisters in diaspora, it doesn't take so much, yeah? It doesn't take so much. Our brothers and sisters in diaspora, especially because in Kenya, sometimes you want to do so much, but you can't. It doesn't take so much. If we can dedicate even $50 in a month, you know, a grandma in the village or a woman in the village just needs maybe 1,000 bob to do for them shopping, so that when you are teaching them something, they can understand what you are teaching them. Because we can say, let's go to the villages, let's teach our mothers, let's teach them all this stuff. But if you don't have sugar and mafuta, unfortunately, they will listen to the politicians. The politicians wanatushinda because they have money, they have the money. And you can see that is what is going on. They are bribing the people, they are bribing the motorbikes, they are bribing everybody, they are bribing. And it is because of the bribing that makes this so difficult, you know. So if we can find even, you know, those that are in Kenya, the ones that are able, I know there are so many people that are also in Kenya that are for us, that are with this movement, who are also financially capable. We need to start the grassroots movement. It starts from the bottom up. So I'm also still for Occupy everywhere. Tutoke Nairobi, let's go to Kisumu, let's go to Mombasa, let's go to Nakuru, let's go everywhere in the country. Let's give these MPs pressure. And also as we choose our leaders and as we start to contribute, as we build our website, you know, if it is, for example, the person that's I'm just going to give an example. If it is Babu Owino, then we need to already set up babuowino.com. I'm giving just an example, not saying that's the candidate. If it's Okio Mutata, we need to set up okiomutata.com. And then with all the people that are running, and then we need to start the grassroots movements now. Even as we continue with mandamanos, we need to start it now. And we need to start it to those people that understand the Sukari language. They need some Sukari so that they can listen to us. You are free to disagree with me, but that is my take, is that let us start now.
I want to ask. I want to ask somebody that now is on the ground. Do you think that ground. People usually talk in spaces about the civic education all the time, but being that you're on the ground, do you think that civic education, what are you going to teach these people? Do you think that they don't have information, or they have information? But what do you think that they lack so much that these people nowadays they listen to all TVs, all radios, all. I think now in Kenya we have radios that I think almost every ethnicity have a local radio, and all these things that being talked there, they know. Unapata hata nyanya mzee ako na radio pale nyumbani. What do you think, Mercy?
Okay.
Do you think that where do you think that is just this teaching needed, or where do we need to teach them that they don't understand, whereby the people that we think that in urban areas or in town knows better than them?
Okay, so the first area that we need to teach them, that I think the right leader, then each Kenya could be getting paid. We need to teach them about other countries, yeah, that have already gotten change. Some of them are not familiar with international news. We need to give them an example of Saudi Arabia, where they only have oil. And in Saudi Arabia, almost nobody each family gets paid with this oil money. We need to teach them about Burkina Faso, where Ibrahim Traore, within a year, has literally changed